What's happening, guys? Lockie Pure here, and in this video series, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm so freaking excited because in this video series, I'm going to be giving away a free course, putting it out there on the internet on how I grew my coaching business Scale Smart from $0 to $1 million a month using AI. Now, a lot of this shit I had to do manually and you need people for, so it's not 100% using AI like some bullshit scam AI business for someone who doesn't even own a real company, okay? We're just gonna use AI to leverage and get a lot of this shit done way faster. So I'm gonna be putting all this out there on YouTube. This is episode 1. I'm gonna be going into the 4 key pillars of $1 million a month coaching business and what the roadmap is gonna look like for the entirety of this video series. Now, why am I doing this? A bit of background on me for 2 seconds. First of all, my business Scale Smart was showing people how to start an agency. So it was a biz op, it was B2C, but everything I show you in this series is going to work for B2B, B2C, because I've got a lot of B2B clients that I do all this stuff for. This is exactly how I grow my clients. I'm just gonna give it to you for free so you can do it yourself to see that it works. And it works in all different industries as well. It doesn't matter if it's dating, if it's fitness, if it's wellness, if it's make money, if it's real estate, if it's software. This is going to work very well as long as you have a coaching, consulting, or information business that's online and it's high ticket, selling over $2,000 plus. This is going to be worth more than literally any $10,000 program or mentor you've ever paid. I promise you. So subscribe, and I really can't wait to jump into this. Just a quick bit of proof. I've been featured on news websites like Yahoo Finance and stuff. Various Digital is my B2B digital marketing agency. You can see Scale Smart achieved milestone of 325 million in client sales. So I've done this for myself, but also for my clients. I've crushed it. You can go down, see a photo of me here, scroll through this news article if you want. I've also taken my entire team, if you haven't seen this video yet, on a $100,000 luxury Bali vacation, flying out well over 20 employees and putting them up in 2 mansions. So this is just a little bit of proof. You can scroll through this video, check it out. It's all real. I just wanted to share this because a lot of people are full of shit on the internet, basically. I've obviously ran into a lot of them. Now, why am I actually doing this? I'm doing this because when you make a claim like I've built $1 million a month business, there are so many fucking plebs on the internet who talk about how to grow your business, but they've never actually grown their business. Okay, so I want to show and prove that I've grown my business, Scale Smart, to $1 million a month, besides all the actual legitimate proof you can see on the internet, by actually showing you how to do it. Now, one thing I want to say is there's no income claims in this video or on my channel or with any of my coaching or consulting or rev share offers. The reason why is I don't know who the fuck you are. You could be on a 3-day bender and for some reason you accidentally clicked on this video. So the majority of people never hit $1 million months. All I'm going to be doing in this series is giving away all of the secrets and all of the source and exactly how I did it so you can implement it and give it your best crack. And at some point down the line, once you're making serious money and you want to work with me directly, you can do so by clicking the link below this video. So without further ado, let's dive into it. The first thing is I'm going to cover the 4 key pillars of what we're actually going to be going into in depth in this series. This is a bit of an overview video, but you're going to get a lot of source out of it, so stick around. So the first thing is offer and pricing architecture. This is the first thing that you need to do and the first thing I look at when I'm working with a new client. In here, we do market research. We do competitor research. So market research is like, what do the customers in your market actually want? Competitor research is who are your competitors, what are they doing that's already working, what's been validated already, how can we add our unique twist to it? Taking stock of your own assets is actually listing out all of your assets and going through and pulling the gold from what you already have, whether it's testimonials, sales call recordings, PDFs, client results. Usually people never actually do this, which is pretty wild considering the effort and time you put into getting that stuff. Then we create your ICP document, which is your ideal customer profile document. This shit, I know it sounds boring. Trust me, I'm a make money guy, I'm a sales guy, I'm a marketing guy. This shit sounds super boring, but don't click off yet, because if you want to make money, there's a reason most people never grow $1 million a month coaching business, okay? There is a fucking reason, and it's because they skip this. So we're gonna be going through it. I'm gonna be giving you live examples, and I'm gonna make it as entertaining as fun as this stuff can humanly possibly be. We're then going to create a Grand Slam offer. So I'm going to show you how to actually create an amazing offer. Now, this is super fucking important because when you think of like your business or your product as like a spear, okay? When you throw that spear into the marketplace, the tip of the spear needs to be as sharp as possible to slice through all the bullshit and all the noise and all the people competing for the same customer's attention. Now, your ICP, your Grand Slam offer, and your unique mechanism, it defines the sharpness of that spear tip. So what is a unique mechanism? You're likely in an industry that has competitors. And your competitors have likely been making the same promises that you make to your customers, most likely for years. So why the fuck would a customer believe that your product can actually solve the problem you claim it to when they've failed for years? The unique mechanism does, you need to sit down and refine this because that's what's going to make old claims and old promises to your customers believable again. And if you do this better than any of your competitors, they will choose you over their competitors, or over your competitors, sorry, even if you have a way higher price point. Like I said, this is the most important. I really geek out. I really love this stuff. I've been doing digital marketing and direct response marketing for 10 years with really some of the highest level businesses, honestly, on the planet. So I'm really excited to actually finally peel back, I guess, like the red curtain and show you exactly how it works and how these businesses operate, how these funnels operate. You're going to be very surprised about the level of detail and granularity we go into. Also on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be doing this live for some of my clients and friends and just posting on YouTube for free. So I'm going to show you how I do it in this video series, but also click subscribe and follow along to watch me actually do it live with other businesses in front of you on my channel. Now, number 2 is lead generation. So once we have that offer and pricing locked in and in place, then we have to actually generate leads. So in the lead generation videos I'm going to be putting out, we're going to be covering choosing the right sales funnel for your offer, choosing the right lead magnet, aka initial offer, whether that be book a call or something more strategic, creating the ads, creating the VSL or the webinar if you choose to have one, creating the funnel pages, so actually building the sales funnel, writing, designing, developing it, adding in the right qualification process so people are qualified, improving the quality of your prospects before you speak with them. This is less about financial qualifying and more about pre-selling them before you get on the phone. Choosing the right advertising platform. Do you go Google? Do you go YouTube? Do you go Meta? Do you go Instagram? Do you go TikTok? I'm going to tell you exactly what I do, right? Building and running the campaigns themselves, setting up show reminders and pre-call material so people actually show up. Now, this is going to work for you no matter what level you're at. So if you're just starting, this is going to be incredibly valuable. If you're already at like $500,000 a month and you want to get to $1 million a month, this is also going to be incredibly valuable for you. Sales process, we're going to break down the right setter and closer options. So not all types of high-tech businesses should have the same setup if they even need setters. Writing your setting script if you have setters. Writing your closing script. This is going to be gold. I sell in a way that no one else in the world sells, and it works really fucking well. And I can say that, but I'm also going to prove it. So I'm really excited to get into this. And there's already a couple of videos on my channel about this. Handling objections, that's just something we need to do. And then how to actually sell over the phone and over Zoom. This is going to be like a sales masterclass. I promise you, this sales process, these videos itself is going to be worth at least $100,000 to anyone who implements it. All for free here on the YouTube channel. And then sales management. So recruiting amazing salespeople so you don't have to take all the sales calls. Ramping new sales reps so they actually perform fast when you bring them into your company. Training sales reps on an ongoing basis because it is ongoing maintenance. Managing a high performance sales team. So going from just managing reps to building a high performance team and a culture. And then training a sales manager to replace you. Those are the 4 pillars. If you have a high ticket coaching business, you are somewhere and needing to work on one of these things. I'm going to be releasing a free video on this YouTube channel breaking down exactly how to do each of these that you can go through. Now, there are 5 stages to $1 million a month. I want to go through this so you can kind of identify where you're at right now in your journey, and you can kind of decide where you're going to be starting. I'm going to be starting from scratch, but this is going to be really useful to you no matter what level you're at. So stage number 1, I call this the validation stage. This is typically from like 0 to 25K a month. You know, these are just, rough ranges here, so bear with me. So what this stage actually looks like is you're proving the market will pay for a specific outcome from a specific offer, okay? So everything is still pretty scrappy, but in short, this is just product market fit. And quick point, product market fit is the most important part of any business. Everything else will live and die by this. So product market fit is essentially when you start a business, you make a hypothesis that I think there is this problem in the marketplace and this type of person suffers the problem and this solution they will pay money for. It's a hypothesis. It's like a scientific experiment, okay? And you have to validate that. However, most people, they never actually focus on validating that in the most efficient way. And then they try and build heaps of funnels, hire salespeople, all this shit a few steps away, but they haven't validated it yet. So the first thing is your focus at this level is picking one ideal client, one clear problem, one clear solution, and then launching a simple offer and trying to sell it as fast as possible. Deliver results quickly, then refine. So a lot of people, they even create their fucking course and their program like 3 months before they ever launch something. You really don't want to do that because often what you want to sell, your prospects don't want to buy. If you ever hear these stories of businesses going like this, like to a crazy level, sure, often there's like amazing marketing and things in place, but it's because the product market fit, customers were bashing down their door to buy the product. So we're going to spend a lot of time over here in the offer and pricing architecture, and I'm going to give you some gold around these 3 pillars that I guarantee you've never come across on the internet and you've never done for your business. And it's really going to help you. Okay, so key activities is just talking to prospects, trying to sell shit. And if you have any sales reps that you're selling, just selling stuff as fast as you can and ideally getting some sort of client results. Like if your product doesn't work at all, then you probably shouldn't keep selling it. But just getting some first wins for clients is all you need. Exit criteria. How do you know when you're ready to go through stage number 2? If you've made like 5 to 15 sales from people who weren't referrals or friends, that's a pretty good indicator that people are willing to pay for it. And ideally at like a decent price point, at least 2.5K, 3K plus, depending on your niche. If you're selling it for $1,000, $500, that ain't high ticket because you need to jack that shit up. And you can kind of explain what it is. Right, that's stage 1, validation. Stage 2 is the repeatable sales process. So this is from about 25K to 100K. I'd say this is like 80% of where people are. However, often people who are here, they kind of skip this phase. And so this is actually a bit harder than it should be. But I'd say this is where the majority of clients and businesses are that I speak with. So what this stage looks like is sales. You need to make sales predictable and you need to stop hoping each month works out. So your lead generation is no longer feast and famine. So your primary focus, and this is really, really important, is you need to build consistent lead flow, okay? And there's a few types of way to generate leads. The most common one's paid ads. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. The most common one's paid ads. 80% of businesses, they rely on paid ads. You put $1 in to advertising, you get a lead. You put $1 in, you get $5 back, right? You need to be able to press a button and have leads flowing through. If you can't press a button and have leads flowing through, you're always going to be in like this really feast and famine mode, and you're never going to have a consistent scalable business, and it's definitely not going to be worth anything, okay? This could be cold outreach. This could be through cold email, through cold calling. That's totally fine as well. A really common one is people with a big personal brand. So one of my clients who is a dating coach has 1 million followers on Instagram, which is obviously fucking massive. So he can put out, a story and get 100 people to inquire for his business. But even still, even if you have 1 million followers on Instagram, it eventually gets fatigued, okay? So that's why we're introducing paid ads, which you'll see. So personal brand, and there's like referrals and partnerships. If you're a wholesaler, often you get business through people who are doing direct sales, right? So what we want to do here is we want to build consistent lead flow. If you can't press a button, if you can't put money into ads, if you can't make 100 cold calls or send 100 cold emails, make a story post and get a consistent, reliable amount of leads, and you can't do that every day and then scale it, then we need to solve that first. That's really big. Then we need to build a repeatable sales process. If you have consistent lead through coming through, we can't have you doing one thing, a sales rep doing something else, another sales rep doing something else. You can't scale sales that way. So we need to have a repeatable sales process in place over the phone, over video, doesn't really matter, where you convert an inquiry into a paying customer in the same way. Okay. Then we want to start tracking numbers. This is really big. I'm huge on data. Okay. I'm really, really big on data. You're going to see that throughout these series, but we want to start actually implementing some tracking. Most people I speak with, they don't track shit. which is it makes it very hard to identify where your constraint is in the business. So key activities: build a reliable and repeatable way to generate new qualified leads at some level of scale. We want to document your sales pitch and your objections and start building your internal LMS. This shit's going to fucking blow your mind. I'm going to do a full video on the internal LMS. The internal LMS is learning management system software, something like that. It's basically an internal course you have for your business to train your employees on how to be better at their job. Now, the amount of businesses that don't have this is honestly fucking appalling. I mean, fair, you've never been taught how to do it, but now you've got no excuse because I'm teaching you, right? But it's essentially an internal training course showing your team how to do it. So if you have sales reps, you should have a video breaking down your product. You should have a video breaking down your customer psychology. You should have a video breaking down your sales script, your sales process. Now, some businesses have this in place, but once you see the level of LMS that I have in place or I had in place for Scale Smart, you're going to shit your pants. You're not going to want to do it, but that's probably why you're not going to have phenomenal employees who can run your business without you. So trust me, this is going to be badass. So your exit criteria here is you have calls coming in every week without it panicking and going up and down, and you can press a button and consistently generate new qualified leads at scale. Or you can send an email, or you can make a cold call, or you can spend some money on ads, whatever that specifically looks like for you. We'll dive into that. You can roughly predict next month's revenue, even if it is at a low scale for now, 20, 30, 40, 50K, 80K a month. Even if it's low scale, there's some kind of like predictability to this, okay? You're not stressing around what's going to happen tomorrow. There's some level of predictability. And we have a written sales process that exists that someone else could actually follow. Okay, stage 3 is we want to systematize the product, roughly 80K to 250K. Now, the funny thing is a lot of people, they do this as the first thing in their business is they try and build out this fucking badass product, and then no one ever hears about it because they built something that nobody wants to fucking buy. Okay, so that's why we do the first two things first, all right? What this stage looks like. So fulfillment starts to become the bottleneck. Once you're consistently, repeatably selling people, even if it's not at the best price point just yet, you start to actually have clients and you start to receive support tickets and support calls and onboarding calls, and your community is growing and people requesting different types of content, and it starts to become a fucking headache, right? So you can sell, but delivery can't scale if you're the doer. So if you're the founder and you're doing everything, this is kind of where you get fucked. Fortunately, I had a co-founder when we launched Scale Smart. So if you do have a co-founder, I highly, highly encourage you. One of you do sales and marketing, one of you do product and operations and fulfillment and delivery. Don't both do one of like the same shit. It's going to kill your business. So if you have a founder, co-founder, you split, all right? Primary focus, turn delivery into a system, not a personality, okay? So you shouldn't just rock up onto a call, shoot the shit with your customers and get them results, because no one else can do that. Only you can do that, okay? And it's the same with sales as well, which we'll get to in a second. So you need to build a repeatable client journey, start delegating fulfillment. This is usually where you start to hire some top students, okay? And we need to map the client journey from onboarding results to retention. We need to build standard operating procedures, templates, and checklists that your customer success team can follow to get clients results. So we need to take what you do, which is the magic of getting results for your clients, and we need to put it into a checklist, right? Hire and train a client success lead, ideally, who can then hire people below them. But if not, we just hire support reps. Implement quality control so you can actually QC the feedback and the customer support they're doing. QC means quality control. So you review the customer support they give to your customers. Exit criteria, delivery works without you doing everything. Clients get outcomes consistently, and retention is stable and refunds low. Now, all this shit that I'm saying in this video is a sliding scale of shades of gray. It's not black and white. Like, delivery works without you doing everything. That's not a black and white thing. It's just like, is it working well enough? And we'll dive into that more throughout the videos. Stage number 4. Now, you can do stage 3 or stage 4 first. Basically, one's getting out of the product and one's getting out of sales. However, typically I recommend doing product first because it's usually a lower ROI thing, and doing sales is a much higher ROI thing. So it's better to do it this way. But again, if you have a co-founder, you can kind of do it simultaneously. So systemizing sales is usually around about 150 to 200 to like 400 to 500K at a really high level here, depending on how high ticket your product is. If you have a lower ticket, it's going to be more around the 150 to 200K. What this stage looks like is still the closer and it's limiting growth. Now you have to scale the sales team, right? You may already have a few salespeople here and there, but you shouldn't be on the phone around about anything north of 200K, you're still on the phone. Unless you really want to have fat fucking profit margins, then that's okay. So you're still closing on limiting growth. Primary focus is removing yourself from closing, hiring your first sales rep without fucking everything up. Trust me, I have fucked everything up. Don't worry, I'm going to be able to walk you through all the mistakes I made because there's a lot of them. We need to maintain and improve their close rate through training and QC. QC just needs call reviews whenever I say that. Just get that. Key activities, we need to hire closers only once lead flow and script are proven. This is huge. Amazing closers will not work for you if you don't have proven lead flow and a proven script. They can smell that shit from a mile away because they've been burnt by 10 other fucking, online coaches who had a shit business and then they got fucked, right? You need to train them intensely. So call reviews, role plays, feedback loops. And if this stuff sounds like an absolute nightmare to you, dude, just suck it up, man. Just suck it the fuck up. Or just decide not to grow a business to $1 million a month. But like, if you can grow a business to even 100, 200, 500K a month, that is like generational wealth over a period of a few years. So just accept that it's going to take work that you're not used to doing. And I'll get to that. I'll get to some mindset source very shortly. And I say all this because I love you. I don't want you to go through all the problems. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to shoot you straight and give you the feedback and the source that I wish someone told me when I was first getting into this. All right, cool. Hire closers once lead flow is proven. We want to train them and then do call reviews weekly and track their performance status. Then you need to have spreadsheets and trackers for every single individual employee and all of their different numbers, which I can just give you because I've already built them. Exit criteria, you're closing the minority of deals, ideally not at all closing any deals. Your close rate stays strong without you. Obviously, if your close rate halves, that kind of sucks. You need to get better reps or be a better manager. And you can stop taking sales calls, and within 30 days, the sales team can make up for the lost revenue that you used to produce. Now, stage number 5, this is a very interesting one, probably not what you think. It's becoming a master manager. This is anywhere from like $400K up to $1 million a month. Now, what this stage looks like is your job is no longer doing anything, okay? Your job is building leaders and doing quality control. So the primary focus here is you need to run the business through people plus rhythm because the business is getting so big now, the business can't rely on you to be doing something for customers or for taking sales calls for it to be successful. You have to have people in place that do that. Then you focus on building up them so the company can be successful and have big profit margins and be consistent and reliable. So probably one of the biggest problems here is you've just barely got lead flow to work. You've just barely got sales people closing. You've just barely got customer support. And you're so burnt out and fatigued, you're like, fuck, finally I don't have to do it. I'm going to go take a vacation. I'm going to go switch off. I finally have some room to breathe. And what happens is everything's like a spinning plate that's just good enough. And then as soon as one problem happens, the whole thing just goes boom, and it fucking crashes like a house of cards. So once you get all those 3 things just good enough for you not being the person to do it, then you have to pour into each of the people in those roles to get them as close as you can, as fast as you can to being as good as you at it. And that's when you have consistency and reliability and good profit margins where you can actually run the business. And then if you go through a dip or have a bad month, which every business does, trust me, or you lose a good employee or something, your business is still profitable and doesn't get fucked. You have to do that work in advance. You don't get to chill out here. You have to switch your mindset from being the person who does everything to wanting to make your people the best they can be. I kind of just talked about this, and this is all done through heaps and heaps of QC, all right? And the exit criteria, these aren't really any exit criteria here. You eventually just develop a C-suite, and then you focus on high-level decision-making. Okay, cool. So the simple rule that ties all 5 stages together is at every level, we identify the current constraint, we fix it, and we repeat it. Most owners stay stuck because they try to solve the next stage problems before mastering the current one. You really have to not fuck this up. I'm going to give you some real quick mindset source, okay? Then we're going to end the video and we're going to start getting into the series and meeting the beans of actually doing it. So the mindset of a $1 million a month founder. You may not actually want to scale to $1 million a month, and that's okay. I just want to add this in. Like if you don't want to get to 100K a month, dude, that's okay. There's no shame. There's no ego flexing if you don't want to get to $1 million a month. I just built my business to $1 million a month, so I want to share the lessons for people who have different goals, okay? Now, founders who do this, they're very number one constraint focused. They're asking smart questions followed by incredibly disciplined actions, then patience until it's solved. So kind of what I mentioned here is founders who get to $1 million a month, at any given time, there is only one primary bottleneck or constraint in your business. And you have to have the intelligence and the awareness to ask, what is that number one thing? What is the number one highest leverage thing I could be working on my business? If there was only one problem I can solve in my business right now, what would create the most growth in comparison to everything else? Then they have very disciplined actions to only work on that thing, and then they have patience until it's solved, because sometimes it takes fucking ages. Like if you're on the phone selling, and the number one thing you could do is get yourself off the phone and have someone to replace you, that may take 3 months to find, hire, recruit, and train the right closer, because you've never done it before. But once you do it, you're successful. So that's really hard. All decisions are made based on objective data, not the way that you feel things are. Whenever I speak with a new client and in their early stages, virtually all the time, it's like 80% of what they tell me about their business is the way that they feel things are, and like 20% is some like high level data that they kind of throw off to the side. You need to flip that, motherfucker. You need to flip that shit. We got to focus on data, because what you think about your business is usually very often wrong. The truth and the constraints lie in your data. I'm going to show you how to analyze that. They're very rarely swayed by what most people are saying they should do. They really concentrate to see what makes the most sense, and then everything else can get fucked. So when I speak with business owners who are earlier in their stages, they're actually quite influenced about like what people say that they should do. And again, I realize it's a bit fucking ironic because I'm recording a video on what you should do. I'm just trying to show you. You don't have to follow it, right? But you know, there's a Hormozi video, then there's this book, then there's this conference, then there's like this YouTube strategy, and there's just so much shit that people are saying they should do, but you need to cut out the noise and try and focus on what makes the most sense, and then be comfortable saying everything else can get fucked until I'm good at this. They acknowledge at all times they are the bottleneck in the business. They learn tactics, but they understand the real value is leveling up their identities, as the business, and most importantly, employees, will never outgrow your identity. This is a really interesting one, and people fucking hate this one. But I love this. I was always excited to be successful in business, not to make more money, but to meet the man that I could become. And so you need to realize that, yes, we'll go through tactics, and tactics are important. You have to have the right strategies in place, but your business, and most importantly, your employees, will never outgrow your identity. So here's a really nice way to think about this. Your company's sales are in alignment with 80% of your current character. So for example, my sales team at ScaleSmart, the sales reps would always represent like 60 to 70 to 80% in skill level and character traits of what I did as the founder. So if you want amazing employees, if you want to hire closers that can make you $200K a month cash collected per closer, they only want to work for a founder who could they themselves build a $500,000 a month business. Okay, so that's kind of the way you need to think about it. They don't get distracted. They do the boring work. This shit ain't glamorous. You're going to see this in this video series. This is not popping bottles, you know, with fucking models on IG. This is boring fucking grunt work, but this is the shit that no one sees. I'm going to show it to you live for free here on YouTube. I'm going to show you everything. Within reason, they try to do the smallest volume of tasks to the highest possible quality. They understand growth comes from doing a few things better than anyone else in the market, and that takes enduring focus. So it's really obvious to me when someone's not that successful in the high ticket space, because they're usually doing a lot of things, but they're usually doing a lot of things because none of it's working. So what we want to do is we want to choose you need to take pride in the amount of things that you don't do, so that you have the time and attention and energy so you can become the best at doing the one thing that you are doing. And they are addicted to mastering each aspect of their business. The growth they experience is simply nice to have, but they're obsessive over doing better. Sure, making more money is cool, but what they obsess over is improving, let me go back to the 4 pillars, improving each of these factors. Because the people who just want to make the most money or be the most famous or whatever their other reason is for being in the business, they usually try to shortcut and rush these things, and then they spend the rest of their business career solving problems and complaining and not being successful because they rush this stuff. So it's kind of like they build a fucking, a boat out of paper mache, then they spend the rest of their career trying to duct tape it. Instead, what we want to do is become addicted to writing the best VSLs, to breaking down the best setting scripts. And one last piece of advice that I'm going to leave you here with before we wrap this up is if you're watching this, okay, and you're like a health and fitness coach, if you're a wellness coach, if you help people quit porn, if you sell a trading algorithm, if you're a dating coach, whatever a niche that you're in, I want to give you, and this is specifically for like the in-person coaches, I want to give you a last piece of mindset shift. You need to no longer think about yourself as a personal trainer. You now need to think about yourself being the best personal trainer. You now need to think and have the identity of, I will become the best at selling personal training. Because I can tell you the richest personal trainers who make the most money and have the most transformations, ironically, they very rarely have the best programs, okay? They're just the best at selling what it is. So for example, let's say that you help, if you're a chiropractor, you grow a successful chiropractic business, now you want to start a coaching business showing other chiropractors how to grow their clinics. It doesn't matter that you're the best chiropractor. It doesn't matter that you grew your chiropractic business to a successful level. What now matters, okay, is that you become the best at selling chiropractors on how to grow their business. And the reason that mindset shift is important, because you're gonna look at all this stuff and be like, oh, I couldn't be fucked doing that. I just want to show chiros how to run ads. Or, oh, I couldn't be fucked doing that. I just want to write, meal plans for my online fitness clients. Or, I couldn't be fucked doing any of this sales stuff. I'm not a sales guy. I just want to show guys how to get more dates and get paid for it. No one gives a fuck what you want, especially not reality. Reality does not care what you want. And you have to lean in and develop the identity of, I'm going to master all of this stuff. And you may only want to master this to get to 100K a month. That's totally cool. But I can promise you're going to have way less pain. It's going to happen way faster and be way more fun if you just accept the identity. You're a master at what you do. Now you become a master at growing a online coaching business to the same level. So if you enjoyed this video, click like, click subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. I'm going to put all this into a nice, clean little playlist. If you want to speak with me directly, one-on-one, and see if I can help your business on a more customized level, click the link at the top of the video in the description. I cannot put into words how excited I am to start this series, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.